it going, guys? Wanted to go over 3.0 Carnage Marauder because I've seen on the forums everywhere, and Marauders aren't viable anymore, and worst class in the game, and I just wanted to cover some basic Marauder things as well as Carnage, and as it is still a good spec to play. And it still has instant burst capability. Maybe not as much as, say, an AP right now, but it still has some pretty good burst. Now, the basic thing to remember about a Marauder is it is a pure offensive class. It's all about killing the enemy, getting up there, and killing them as fast as you can, or doing the most damage. Because as it is a class that doesn't have many defensive capabilities, and not a lot of range, as it is pure melee, it should have the highest output of damage. So as a Marauder, you need to be aggressive with your playstyle, and with all the CC the other classes have, I understand that can be a pretty difficult. So I just want to cover some of that. We did get nerfed. One of the big nerfs was they didn't never mention it really in their stream, but Ravage damage got a big nerf. The only spec in the game right now that I believe that doesn't get its Ravage nerfed was the Vengeance Juggernaut. It still hits like a truck from before. But yes, our Ravage damage is nerfed, as well as Vicious Throw gone, and with that, Carnage lost its ability from that. Even if we still had it, I don't know if it is effective as it was before, with every other class getting some type of root immunity and root breaks. So with that, our biggest downfall as a class comes from not our nerfs, but buffs the other classes got. And it seems like what they try to do is they try to streamline all other classes being more mobile, being this and that, and when they did that, we lost our capability. Now you got to remember, when the devs, when they class balance, they're not really looking at PvP aspect of it, they're looking at a PvE aspect. So with that, they balance PvE really well, but then what that'll do is that'll throw off the class balance for PvP, and it's unfortunate, but what can you do about it? So with that, I want to go over some of the Carnage changes in themselves. Now, the combat playstyle Carnage is completely different than it was before. Before, when you needed to global somebody, your burst rotation was Gore, Ravage, Force Scream, all under a Berserk. Absolutely do not want to do that anymore for 3 reasons. 1, with everybody else getting root immunities and root breaks, Ravage, everybody can slip out of your Ravage. You don't want to waste your Gore on a Ravage. Now, I still do get the talent for the Ravage root, and I will explain that when I go over my utilities. But and there is a reason for that, but I'll explain that later. For the second reason is, like I said before, Ravage damage got nerfed. Prior to 3.0, during a Gore, my third tick of Ravage would hit like between 11 to 13k. Now, it only hits for about 7k inside a Gore window. So the damage is severely nerfed than it was before. And even ravaging outside of a Gore window, I think it only hits for 5k maybe. Well, nowhere near what it used to. And then lastly, the reason you don't want to do that is because the Gore window is a lot shorter than it was before. Now there's several factors that'll cause your third tick of Ravage to slip out of that Gore window, and one, lag. Everybody's experienced server lag from SWTOR's end that will cause you to maybe, you know, you hit it and your abilities didn't go off right because of the lag. Secondly, animations. You know, you do your animations, and like say Massacre, it has a long animation. So I hit my Massacre and I immediately hit Gore. Well, I just clipped my entire Gore window because that Massacre won't fall in it because I hit it before I did my Gore, but the animation time takes up my Gore window. As well as, remember, our piriform strikes. Piriform strikes happen after the melee ability you just used. So even if my animation is complete, then I have to do an piriform strike. So that all that eats into your Gore window, which can cause your Ravage to slip out of your window. So you absolutely do not want to waste a Gore on a Ravage. That said, what is our main rotation now? What I found to be most effective for burst is using Gore with Devastating Blast and Vicious Throw. Now, the first thing I usually do is I Ravage first. No Gore, just a Ravage. And that is to proc from our 6 set bonus. See that Ravage makes your next Vicious Throw an automatic critical hit once every minute. So you open up, you get that initial burst, you jump in, you Ravage, it procs your Weapon Master / Challenger set bonus, so that your next Vicious Throw is an automatic critical hit. Then from that Ravage, I will do a Massacre. Proc both my Devastating Blast and my Vicious Throw. I will then do a Battering Assault, obviously to get that rage, as well as getting that battered raid ability, so that they take extra melee damage. Once I do that Battering Assault, I'll then hit Gore and Devastating. I'll hit Gore, Devastating Blast, and Vicious Throw. Now inside a Gore window, my Devastating Blast hits usually between 13 to 14k on average. You know, I've hit a lot higher, and you know, with cooldowns you can hit a lot lower. And then my Vicious Throw, when it's critted inside a Gore window, it'll hit for about 11, 12k. So right there, that is 20 plus k damage. So you know, you can, I've got up to, I think, almost 30k damage in one Gore window. So that is definitely where your power burst is at now. So let me show you what it should look like. Jump in, Ravage, Massacre, Battering Assault, Gore, Devastating Blast, and then Vicious Throw. Obviously, hitting a test dummy, your damage values are a lot less than they're actually on players. That is what the rotation should look like. Now for Berserk, I usually say Berserk after I've done all that initial burst. I will then hit Berserk, because inside Berserk, your Massacre will only cost 1 in Rage. And you want to use your Massacre as your main filler ability. So as your Massacre in, plus Massacre's base damage has been increased, and you want to be able to get a lot of Massacres in to fill while your Gore and your Devastating Blast become cooldown. And obviously, if you're having trouble killing your target because that target's receiving heals, you can work in a Crippling Slash. And I don't even want to go over this ability. I am upset that we have to use this now, because prior to 3.0 I never used Crippling Slash ever. It's a waste of rage, and I really don't need it. The only reason I use it now for trauma, and I'll also explain why I don't need it later as well. So that is what your main rotation should look like. This changed from using Ravage to using your Devastating Blast and Vicious Throw. Does have its benefits in the fact that they are both 10-meter range, as well as your Gore has no range at all. So, you know, if you're attacking that Sork that has the bubble stun, well, he bubbles, you know, he's gonna kite you a little bit, and before that bubble stun hits you, you know, you slightly out of range, and you can activate it from back here, and that stun won't affect you. Knockback, it's good for knockback. So you can do your burst within a 10-meter range versus a 4-meter range, as well as it's a lot harder to interrupt than your Gore Ravage was. Obviously, the CC is still out of control for us Marauders, but it is a lot better in that respect than it was before, so I will give that. Let me go over my utilities. Now, these utilities are what I personally have taken. I am open to suggestions. I have thoroughly tested most of the utilities. I haven't tested them all, and these are the ones that I prefer, and I will explain why. The first one is, yes, I do still take the Ravage route, and that is good in several instances, but one case off the top of my head, it's good to keep. It does help keep certain enemies close, especially if their root immunity is on cooldown, or it's also used as a control effect, as we do have limited control on a Marauder. We don't have all the CCs that other classes have. So, for example, you know, you're attacking a hut ball carrier, you need to stop him. You know, he's about to score, you need to stop him. A 3-second Ravage may be all you need to stop him, take him out. So it does has its uses. It's definitely not as strong as it used to be, but it still has its use. Next one I get is Cloak of Rage. Now, I do believe this one was called Cloak of Carnage before. I always took this ability no matter what. I took this one twice as getting the accuracy talent from the old skill trees, because Rage has always been an issue for Marauders. Those that have played, you know, we're always hurt for Rage, and especially as Carnage. We do have a shortcoming of Rage, so this definitely helps out. And as we're always going to be in the fight, you know, we're always going to have that Cloak of Pain going. That it's just a benefit. We're always going to be getting that Rage from that Cloak of Pain. It's never going to be a waste. The last one, I do get Defensive Forms. Fury, Fury, Fury. Always need that Fury. But more importantly, like I said before, Marauders are offensive classes, and it's all about speed, because my saying that I always said about playing a Marauder, it's not if I'm going to die, it's when I die, how many enemies I can take with me. So it's about that speed, so having that extra movement, always a plus. Next one I take is Interceptor. This is a great ability to have to keep enemies close. They're slowed and you're not, and this is also why you don't really need Crippling Slash. This doesn't, you know, I don't have to hit anything for this. This is me just attacking, and I get them slowed, so I don't have to waste a global cooldown, or I don't have to waste Rage to slow them. I just automatically slow them. Now, a lot of people say you should take defensive role, and are shocked, in fact, that I don't. Now, I've never seen where real AOE has eaten me alive. You shouldn't realistically be standing in AOE. There are times that you are, as a Marauder, you're gonna be standing in AOE. But again, like I said, the way that I feel my utilities are for the offensive, because we are not Juggernauts. Yeah, I don't need all these defensive downs. I'm about attacking. So anything that I can do to my damage, I'm going to take that instead. So I don't personally take that. If you are, if you don't have a pre-made that you can join all the time, or guildmates or anything like that, and you are always pugging, not grouping with anybody, you're always going at it solo, then yes, it may behoove you to take this versus something else. For the other one that I do get though is Phantom. Now I find this extremely helpful, especially as Carnage. This is something that we did not have before, as it was a Annihilation talent. And like I said, offensive, so I use my Force Camouflage as an offensive cooldown, not a defensive, most of the time. So as an offensive cooldown, you get knocked back, you get rooted, especially say for attacking a sniper or a sork. You quickly cloak out, break that root, you have that, and you can get up there. You have more time to get up there, and you travel there faster. So it's a great utility, personally, that I find getting. Expunging Camouflage. Now, I personally choose to get this over the Predation one. Where's that one at? This one. Don't get me wrong, I would love to have Unbound. But I find this to be more on demand because the Predation one, you may not have the stacks. Activate when you need to. And so I just find having it on Force Camouflage is a lot better because it's more on demand. I can choose when I need to do it instead of, oh, well, I'm rooted and I don't have any stacks of Fury and now it's a waste. Plus, activating Predation, you do lose the aspect of Berserk. So it's a trade-off. I just find Expunging Camouflage to be a lot better. I would love having my Predation back as Carnage, especially, but the last thing I get is Brooding. I do believe this should be a passive ability all Marauders get. It shouldn't be a utility, but as it's not, having the stacks, building the stacks I find it useful. I have been debating on whether just flat out getting rid of it and getting Predation. It's definitely more useful if you do get the Predation, because you can do both Predation and then you can pop this ability, Frenzy, and then get your second stack. So also, if you do a lot of solo ranked or group ranked ranked arenas, this ability may not be as useful as it before, especially if you do not have the Predation buff, because you can no longer use Bloodthirst in arenas. So not being able to use Bloodthirst in arenas, you really have no need to have 2 stacks. So you got your Frenzy. A lot of times you may not need that Brooding. So just a suggestion for you, do that. Now these are like I said, these are my personal utilities that I've tested that I find to be the most optimal. There is a few in here that I would love to get. Using Cloak of Pain while stunned, I would love to have that. This is another ability that I would love to have back. Yeah, this one, it does both. So is one that I've been wanting. So if you have a better utility layout, please leave it to me in the comments. I would love to. I'm always trying to improve myself as well. So just as long as it's you got a solid case on why this is better than this. But yes, so those are my abilities. This is what I prefer, that I find most helpful. And like I said, people are shocked and awed that I do not get the defensive rule, but it is what it is. Now for gear, prior 3.0, I was all power surge. Arturo form before, it gave you that 3% alacrity plus that 1% from your companions will give you the 94%, so you're right there. But now, get no accuracy from your tree. So what I've done is I've sacrificed my surging I think I had about 70% before, now I'm only down to 70%, is I do get 2% gear alacrity. The other 3% comes from Terraform, as the passive Terraform now gives 3% alacrity, twice his accuracy. So I do get that too, because at 5% I feel fluid. I feel, because I did try with no alacrity, and I just feel at 5% my attacks are faster, I'm more fluid, and my streamline damage is higher. Now as for accuracy is definitely a must post 3.0. I've noticed I'm missing a whole lot more than I did before. Even you know, nothing pisses me off more than I'm attacking that Sork and I see deflect, miss. You know, he's a Sork, he's in light armor. You know, before, I don't know when they changed it, but before they didn't have any defense chance, and now that I think they have 10%, if I remember right, maybe only 5%. Either way. And on top of that, still have a lot of more skills out there that do reduce accuracy or increase the player's defense chance. Power tech tanks, you know, they flame burst and lower your accuracy. You got all snipers, not just marksmen, but all snipers now have diversion, which is now also an AoE ability. That'll make you miss. Fighting another marauder. Think Saber Word increases your defense. Yeah, it absorbs damage, so you're gonna miss. Anyway, so there's a lot of abilities out there that'll make you miss. So you need at least 5% accuracy. Now, looking at my stats, you gotta remember right now, beginning of a new expansion, beginning of a new season, we're at the bottom tier of gear, both PvE and PvP wise. You gotta remember, as they come out with tier, you know, down the line they're gonna come out with higher tiers of gear. You know, the ranked gear now will become the red gear, and then they'll come out with new ranked gear. So you're gonna have to leave room for stat inflation, because once I get all my ranked gear, this will be higher, you know. So leave yourself some. And another reason I was willing to lose some surging was because your Carnage abilities, you know, they give a lot of surging from the tree, even though it doesn't show on your stat screen. It does in fact give you a lot of surging. So, like I said before, my devastating blast, you know, I've hit people for 18, 19k on a devastating blast. So, it's not as big as a deal as it used to be, and you definitely need that accuracy, and I do find that I need that little bit extra alacrity. I may change it later, but for right now, from what I tested, I've done a lot of matches, and I find this most optimal. As well as I didn't really have to min-max much, because most of the gear came with some, like the headpiece, it comes with alacrity. You know, and I mixed, and I got mostly Challenger, and I did get two Weapon Master sets. So, you know, the gloves come with accuracy. I think that's it. Everything else was power surge. Yeah, and then I just supplemented with my earpiece, has alacrity, and my two implants have accuracy. So anyway, so that is tips and tricks on the 3.0 Marauder. I may be putting out more videos later. Like I said, I don't have the time to edit videos, make videos. So a lot of videos I would put are like highlights from my Twitch channel. However, a lot of times the music I'm playing, the audio gets muted. That's why some of my videos don't have sound. So I haven't been uploading videos, but I'm definitely, you know, come by my Twitch and you'll see exactly how I play the Marauder. It's still my favorite class. It's the most fun to play for me because my playstyle is in your face, lots of damage very fast. So, anyways, I hope this helped you out. Please leave me feedback. You know, if you've got something that works better, or hey, maybe you should do this and that. I'm open to it. I'm definitely willing to become a better Marauder. And if you guys want, I can cover an Annihilation. I don't really play Annihilation anymore because I don't like what they did to it. Annihilation is very fun spec to play, but for me, it seemed like they broke the flow and it's choppy and it requires a lot more rage. You know, with the Force Rend as well as now, you know, if you need to smash for optimal damage output. So I can, if you guys want to. I'd have to do some tweaking and mess around with it a little more stuff. I haven't given it a full chance yet. And as far as Fury, I've never really liked Rage. Now Fury. So I haven't really given that a fair chance. I haven't really played it. I could do that if you guys wish. But yeah, so let me know. You got some tips, tricks. Let me know and I'll try them out and see how it goes. I'm always willing to learn. Anyway guys, thanks for stopping by and watching. I hope this helped you out.